Once upon a time, in a quiet little village nestled in the valley, there lived a very ordinary housefly named Buzz. Buzz wasn't like the other insects. While most flies were content with their short lives, buzzing around aimlessly and causing a nuisance, Buzz had dreams. He didn't want to spend his life hovering near trash cans and rotting fruit. He wanted to explore the world and be remembered for something great. Every morning, Buzz would watch the birds soaring high above the village, weaving through the air with grace and freedom. He longed to fly as they did, but being a fly, he could never match the elegance or speed of the birds. This frustrated him, and every night as he drifted off to sleep on the windowsill of a cozy little cottage, he would dream of being a bird, of flying far beyond the village, over mountains, rivers, and forests, to places no fly had ever seen before. One fine summer morning, Buzz had an idea. If he couldn't become a bird, he could at least learn from them. And so, Buzz set off on a grand adventure. His first stop was the tallest tree in the village square, where a wise old owl named Hoot lived. Hoot was known to be the most intelligent creature in the village, and Buzz figured he would know how to fly like a bird. Buzz buzzed his way up to the high branches of the tree, where Hoot was resting on a sturdy limb. "Excuse me, Hoot," Buzz said, hovering nervously. "I want to learn how to fly like the birds. Can you teach me?" Hoot opened one eye and peered at the tiny fly. "Fly like the birds?" he asked, his voice slow and deep. "You are but a fly. You can never soar as they do. Your wings are too small, your body too light." Buzz's heart sank. "But there must be a way," he insisted. "I don't want to just buzz around like all the other flies. I want to see the world and make something of myself." Hoot blinked, considering Buzz's words. "There is more to flying than just wings and speed, young fly. It is about purpose. Birds fly with a purpose, whether to find food, migrate to warmer lands, or protect their nests." "What is your purpose?" Buzz hesitated. He had never thought about it that way before. He just wanted to fly far, to explore. But perhaps that wasn't enough. "I want to explore the world," Buzz said. "I want to see things no fly has ever seen. I want to be remembered." Hoot tilted his head. "Then you must learn to fly with more than just your wings, Buzz. You must fly with your heart." Unsure of what that meant, Buzz thanked Hoot and flew off. His next stop was the wide meadow just outside the village, where a group of sparrows were darting through the sky, chasing each other playfully. Buzz watched in awe at how they twisted and turned in the air with such agility. He decided to ask them for advice. Buzz flew up to one of the sparrows, a cheerful little bird named Chirp. "Hello," Buzz called out as he tried to keep up with the sparrow. "Can you teach me how to fly like you?" Chirp laughed. "You? A fly? But you're so small. We sparrows have powerful wings and strong bodies. You could never keep up with us." Buzz felt a bit disheartened, but he wasn't ready to give up. "Maybe I'm small, but I'm fast," he said. "I just want to learn how to fly like you, so I can see the world." Chirp thought for a moment. "Well, I guess I could give you a few tips. The most important thing is to always keep your wings strong. You have to flap them in a steady rhythm, not too fast or too slow. And you have to pay attention to the wind, use it to glide and save your energy." Buzz tried to follow Chirp's advice. He flapped his tiny wings in rhythm and attempted to glide on the wind. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't fly as gracefully as the sparrows. After a few minutes, he was exhausted and had to land on a nearby flower to catch his breath. Chirp landed beside him. "Don't feel bad," she said kindly. You're a fly, after all. Maybe you're not meant to fly like us, but you can still be fast. Speed is your gift." Buzz nodded, though he still felt a bit discouraged. As Chirp flew off to rejoin her friends, Buzz wondered if maybe Hoot and Chirp were right. Maybe he wasn't meant to fly like a bird after all, but as he rested on the flower, he noticed something below him. Down near the roots of the flower was a tiny ant, struggling to carry a piece of food back to its nest. The food was much too heavy for the ant, and it was making slow progress. Buzz watched for a moment, then had an idea. Buzz flew down and landed beside the ant. "Hi there," Buzz said. "You look like you could use some help." The ant, whose name was Antonia, looked up at Buzz in surprise. "You want to help me? But you're just a fly. How can you help carry something so heavy?" Buzz smiled. "I may not be able to carry it, but I can fly it to your nest for you." Antonia was hesitant at first, but she was also very tired. "Well, if you're sure you can manage it," Buzz grabbed hold of the food with his tiny legs and, with a bit of effort, lifted it into the air. It was heavy, but Buzz was faster than he was strong, and in no time at all, he had flown the food back to the ant's nest. When Buzz returned to the flower, Antonia was waiting for him, out of breath but grateful. "Thank you, Buzz. I never could have gotten that back to the nest on my own." Buzz felt a warm glow of pride. "You're welcome," he said. "I'm glad I could help." As Buzz flew off, he realized something important. Maybe he wasn't meant to fly like the birds, but that didn't mean he couldn't be useful in his own way. Speed was his strength, and if he could use that to help others, then maybe he didn't need to soar high or fly far to achieve something great. In the following days, Buzz found himself helping more and more of the small creatures in the village. He would zip across the fields, delivering messages from the ants to the beetles, carrying pollen for the bees, and even helping the ladybugs find their way when they got lost in the tall grass. Buzz became known throughout the village as the fastest and most helpful fly around. He didn't need to fly like a bird to make a difference. His speed and his kindness made him a hero in his own right. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Buzz sat on the same windowsill where his adventures had begun. He looked out over the trees and fields, content and proud of all he had accomplished. He might not have flown over mountains or rivers, but he had helped his friends in ways that no other fly ever had, and as he drifted off to sleep that night, Buzz realized something important. It wasn't how high or far you could fly that mattered. What mattered was how you used the gifts you were given, and how you made the world a little better for those around you. From that day on, Buzz was no longer just an ordinary housefly. He was Buzz, the fast, fearless, and friendly fly who had learned that the greatest adventures come from helping others and making a difference, no matter how small you are. And so, Buzz's legend spread throughout the village and beyond. Though he was small, his heart was big, and his kindness and speed had made him a hero to all who knew him. His dream of being remembered had come true, not because he could fly like the birds, but because he had learned to fly with his heart. Do you still like today's story? If you like, please remember to subscribe to this channel and click the like icon. You can receive notifications and hear the latest stories as soon as possible. Good night, my baby.